Did you hear about the slave uprising with Adam Kokesh?
I did. Actually, it was actually that's a Ron Paul Forums thing.
Yeah.
It was Josh Lowry who always had that sentence in his that Goethe quote. Mm-hmm. None are more enslaved than those who believe they are free.
Okay.
None are more hopelessly enslaved than those who falsely believe they are free. I think that's the exact quote. And the quote was it was a Adam started the "we need an action." He asked for actions,
right?
And Josh came through with an action, and it's one of those forum birth things,
right?
I always shy away when I hear people say, "Oh, this was this guy's idea or that guy's idea," because really it's just the Ron Paul Forums. It's its own entity, and one person has one sentence or one word in a sentence, and one person has another word in another sentence, and then somebody else puts those two words together and puts out a sentence, and then somebody else says, "Hey, that's a good idea." And who is it that really came up with the idea? Was it it wasn't anybody, but it was everybody together.
I always wondered, like, where's that slang word come from? Like, where'd that come from? So it makes sense. Like, people's ideas come together, especially
in this revolution. In this revolution, especially. In the beginning, we had a lot of success from what we called open source campaigning. There was no hiding. There was no I own this. There was no I own. It was just everybody shared everything, and including all our ideas. And some people were like, "Oh, you can't give away all our secrets. The enemy's watching, and they'll take this idea." And it's like, we didn't care and we just plowed forward.
Yeah.
And we had truth and right on our side. They can take our ideas and try to, they tried that.
Huckabee.
Yeah, they tried to take it. It just fell flat on their face.
Dude, you're doing the same thing that we're doing.
They don't have the integrity we have. So it didn't matter. That's why I was so stoked with open source open source campaigning. Right. Nothing like it, man. Damn the torpedoes. Full speed ahead.
I don't know if anybody's asked you. I haven't seen any video of it on YouTube, even though you haven't seen too much on YouTube. But what got you motivated and got you informed about Ron Paul? Like I told you earlier, I saw him in the debates.
It was years ago, and that's when I started voting. It was back in. I was learning the internet.
Okay.
I kind of dropped out of society.
Okay. And
I moved to Hawaii, and I was living a real quiet life there. It wasn't.
Yeah, you can live pretty quiet on a tropical island.
On a tropical island, especially the island of. But I more or less ignored the world. I was so disgusted by the corruption and the way the world was going, and I just didn't see enough people who cared.
Right.
So this same apathetic thing that happened to a lot of us.
Right.
So I was out. I was kind of hiding out there, but I knew I had to learn the internet back around 1999, 98, 99.
Right.
So I bought a computer and I started playing around with it, and I found the Usenet groups, and I found Talk Politics Guns, which was a really active, it's kind of like Ron Paul Forums, very much anarchy of posting. And there was one guy that always, he was respectable. Every time he posted something, I would read it because he made sense. Mm-hmm. And one time he mentioned an honest politician. This honest politician named Ron Paul. And I was like, what? There's no honest politicians. So I used that name, Ron Paul, to learn how to research on the internet. Because I was just learning the internet. I says, okay, I'm going to learn how to research. And I used that name.
So you basically heard about Ron Paul on the internet?
On the internet.
Back in like 98?
98, 99.
And that's kind of what started it for you?
Well, that started me, when I realized that there were honest politicians and people could make a difference, I felt a bit embarrassed that I had dropped out. And I felt that if I had stayed involved, maybe we would be one step closer to where we want to go than if I had not, if I dropped out. Mm. So I started voting again, and I started getting involved in local politics.
Who did you vote for in 2000 for president?
I voted for, I think it was Harry Brown running. I've always voted for the Libertarian candidate on the top ticket.
Oh, okay.
I didn't really pay attention to who it was.
Oh.
I've never been a libertarian.
Okay.
I call myself a green conservative. I believe global warming is a load of, man-made global warming is a load of crap. Mm-hmm. but I do believe that man can take better care of taking care of the environment is a smart thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
So
since then you've always, up until this election or this primary?
I've usually voted. My votes would usually swing more right on the local elections. After studying the candidates. Mm-hmm. And then, but it really didn't matter. I was across party lines, and but the top tickets I always just give to the Libertarian Party, try to get them ballot access.
So what do you think about this year?
Well, this year has been the most amazing year of my life. It's just.
So are you more libertarian leaning still this year, or is it kind of due to the fluctuation of the various?
Small L libertarian. I'm a small L Republican.
Oh.
Although I'll stay in the Republican Party. But I'm definitely libertarian leaning. I'm a Taft Republican rather than a neocon. I've never been a neocon.
Right.
They're freaking not even. Con is the right word.
So are you planning? Do you know who you're going to be supporting in this election?
I'm probably going to vote for whichever third party candidate.
Well, I think that's a really by disenfranchising voters. I think by the whole mentality of third parties, or by instead of it being just candidates. I think if it's it shouldn't be there shouldn't be any like major parties. It's just like there's various parties, there's various candidates, and you can't look at it. You have to look at it based on your own choice.
Yeah, that'd be nice, and ideally that would work.
Yeah.
But getting to that point is going to take it's going to take time and effort. We have to deal with the system we're in right now, that's why we're voting for. I like the idea this year of anybody but. Just having a massive migration away from the Democrat and Republican. If we could show, and it doesn't matter if one party gets 30%, but if all four of the third parties drew a good 20% away from the Democrats and Republicans, especially if they do it equally, that would send a big message, and it would a lot of the people who are drowsy would realize that they don't have to vote for the lesser of two evils, and that there's a groundswell of people who have rejected that idea. I don't know who first said that about, no, you got to vote the lesser of two evils, but it was pretty evil in itself. Anybody who votes for McCain or Obama will have blood on their hands.
Oh.
They're both the same lion creams.
You want to go on record saying that?
I just did.